This is a photo of the worksheet on what's termed the gender unicorn.
Actually, a way to be really sneaky about supporting specifically queer students in your classroom.
Our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda.
I want to show you what's being concealed from the parents.
Desperate and running out of options, Beverly, a mother in Oregon, sent an email to UCLA psychiatrist Miriam Grossman that read, "Urgent, need help." Beverly believed her daughter, a 15-year-old girl, might soon elect to undergo a bilateral mastectomy. In other words, the teen was looking to remove both her breasts. Why? Because she recently chose to identify as a boy, and her best friend had just had her own breasts removed as part of her own male identification process. "Do doctors really do that to a 16-year-old, Beverly asked, to which Grossman replied, "They sure do." Grossman detailed the exchange in City Journal magazine, explaining that a growing number of girls as young as 13 are now having top surgery in order to appear more masculine. You might be wondering, why is this happening? The answer to that question can be summed up with one word: grooming.
I want to show you what's being concealed from the parents. Inclusive curriculum lessons, there's collections, the LGBTQ heritage, gender inclusive biology.
Roberts and our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. And so I
Everyone has a soji.
In recent years, Democrats, media outlets, teachers with ideological agendas, and even children's television shows and movies.
Disney Plus is adding a content warning to some of its classic movies. Rather than remove the content, it wants to acknowledge its harmful impact.
Have all been pushing woke gender ideology onto young boys and girls.
Public school students to learn about LGBTQ history and cultural contributions. The controversial new curriculum kicks in this coming September.
Numerous videos have gone viral online depicting left-wing teachers bragging about sneaking behind parents' backs to teach their students about things like gender theory and queerness.
And there's actually a way to be really sneaky about supporting specifically queer students in your classroom.
To teach their students about things like gender theory and queerness. Leaked lessons for grades as young as kindergarten show that kids all over the country are being taught these ideas via child-friendly concepts like the gender unicorn.
The Gender Unicorn is a graphic produced by Trans Student Educational Resources.
On the recommendation of two prominent school library organizations, pornographic books depicting transgender characters have appeared in school libraries in states like Virginia, Iowa, Florida, and Ohio, among others. Recently, a leaked video from an internal meeting of Disney's top executives showcased various movie and TV producers bragging about how they would continue to push gender ideology and a not at all secret gay agenda in their projects.
My not at all secret gay agenda. And so I feel like...
What's the result of all this grooming? Confused children are increasingly identifying as transgender. In 2017, 3 to 4 in 100 American teens reported that they are or may be transgender. By 2021, that number had more than doubled to 9 in 100. These children have been groomed to believe the idea that if they don't feel quite right socially, if they don't fit in for one reason or another, then they may, in fact, be trapped in the wrong body. Because of this, kids who suddenly identify as trans are typically socially awkward, going through puberty, and often suffer from social development disorders such as autism and ADHD.
Hi, my name is Jasper. I use they pronouns.
Hi, my name is Liana. I use they demon pronouns.
This video is how to use our pronouns.
I have Meredith co-conscious with me so that I will not mess up.
These kids are being groomed to believe that the normal stresses of childhood can be solved through gender transitioning. They're told that if you don't feel quite right in your own body, the only way to feel whole is to mutilate that body to better fit the opposite gender. This is referred to as gender-affirming care. Gender-affirming care constitutes a variety of treatments, including the removal of body parts and the use of drugs such as Lupron, which has yet to receive FDA approval for such use and was previously used in the chemical castration of sex offenders. Democrats, activists, established media outlets, and even President Joe Biden himself have all voiced support for allowing children well below the age of consent to receive gender-affirming care.
I will flat out just change the law. The idea that an 8-year-old child or a 10-year-old child decides, I decided I want to be transgender. That's what I think I'd like to be. It'll make my life a lot easier. There should be zero discrimination.
This is in spite of the fact that, if left alone, studies show between 60 to 90% of transgender children will detransition by the time they're adults. If those children are convinced to take puberty blockers, however, 100% will go on to receive various permanently damaging sex change therapies. A growing number of these kids eventually become detransitioners once they realize that transgenderism didn't make them feel whole.
I would have never imagined that I would be feeling this way. And when I saw them being so happy and excited about doing this wonderful transformative process to really become their true self,
they eventually revert back to identifying with their biological sex. In recent years, many detransitioners have begun to speak out, warning others not to follow in their footsteps. Others are gathering together to help process their trauma.
Now 21, she'd been planning to have surgery to remove her breasts. But in May, she made the decision to come off testosterone and detransition to identify as female.
This is no small number of individuals. One Reddit page dedicated to detransitioners has just shy of 30,000 followers. Republicans, conservatives, and concerned parents from across the political spectrum have fought back against grooming by raising awareness and supporting parents' rights legislation aimed at banning such ideas from being discussed with young children.
The fact that the government is taking my money and funding the indoctrination of other children, that's why I'm here.
And every step of the way, the left has smeared these efforts as bigoted and transphobic. Florida's Parental Rights and Education bill, for example, was smeared as the Don't Say Gay bill, despite the fact that the word gay never actually appeared in the legislation.
We say gay! We say gay! We say gay!
In reality, the controversial portion of the bill reads as follows. Classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through third grade, or in a manner that is not age-appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. When read the actual language of the bill, a public opinion strategies poll found that 58% of independents, 55% of Democrats, and a whopping 67% of parents supported the legislation.
Despite protests from LGBTQ+ advocates who've dubbed it the Don't Say Gay bill. But Representative Joe Harding, who introduced the bill, says its critics are lying about the bill's purpose.
Children need to learn how to tie their shoes. They need to be taught about math and reading, not the strange sexual ideologies of political activists. If you disagree, if you believe this sort of political and sexual grooming should be permitted in a classroom full of young children, there's only one thing left to say. Okay, groomer.